Welcome back to Vibe Theory, you guys, where we don't just talk about the music, we also talk about what's happening around it. I'm your girl, L Boogie.
And what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Beezy.
Yes. And today's conversation starts with BTS and the Grammys. But trust me, it's not going to end there. Now, BTS has decided not to submit music for consideration for the 2027 Grammy Awards, following the Recording Academy's creation of a brand new category, Best Asian Pop Music Performance. Now, their position raises a pretty straightforward question. And this is one that has already kind of been brought to life by other artists, but this is one that we need to talk about. Now, if you're one of the biggest selling artists and musical acts in the world, you might be asking yourself, why should your music suddenly need its own category defined by either a geographic location or language just to be recognized? But there's also another part to this conversation, guys, that we need to have. Now, because BTS is not one of the first major recording artists to question the Grammys and their tactics. And they're definitely not one of the first artists from a historically marginalized musical community to ask such a question. So why does the institution keep putting our music out there instead of allowing it to compete with others? Hip-hop has asked this question. R&B artists have asked this question, and Black musicians have been asking versions of this question for decades. So today we're asking, is BTS exposing a new problem? Or are they just putting a global spotlight on an old one? So let's get into it, guys. Remember, protect your peace and let's keep the vibe.
Yes.
All right. How do you want to set this up, Easy? I know there's a lot to unpack.
It's a lot to unpack.
This is the topic right now in the musical genre, in the musical industry. And it's been a hot one since their announcement. So I'm going to let you go ahead and take it over.
First, I support them 100%. Why do I support them? Because why are you putting them in a box when they should compete with everybody else? Now, the Grammys has been around for 57 years. And this question has been going on since the inception of the Grammys. You have been putting artists in a box, and you've continued to put artists in a box since the Grammys has been in existence. Yeah. And that's a problem. That is a problem. So here's the question. With BTS exposing this issue, will something happen? Because I am not in agreement with them wanting to add this Korean pop category. I am not.
Right. So it's like this. So what is exactly Asian pop, first and foremost? I think that's what we need to ask first, because Asian is not a genre, first and foremost. That's not a genre. So K-pop, J-pop, C-pop, these all come from different countries, cultures, languages, right? So yet the Grammys chose a category that potentially places them under the same umbrella. So it's almost like they said, hey, I'm going to group all of them. I don't care where they're from. If they're from Japan, if they're from Korea, if they're from China, if they're from Malaysia. If I feel like they're all that's considered Asian pop, I'm going to place them all under one umbrella and then let them compete amongst themselves. Because that's what they just did. They took them completely out of general population. And when we think about popular music means just that. It's popular.
It's popular.
Music.
Exactly. Exactly. And I mean, and the thing of it is that since BTS has been around, I mean, they've been nominated 5 times for the Grammys. You know, and so, and you know, they kind of faded in 2023 when they had to volunteer for the military in their country, but BTS has been relevant. Let's let that sink in. They have been relevant. Their
Relevant and
music,
selling numbers.
exactly, and selling out worldwide. I
Yes.
mean,
Yeah.
there are people who are absolutely crazy in the States here for BTS.
Right.
I mean, my little cousin just traveled to Boston. Now she lives
Mm,
in Atlanta. She
mm.
traveled to Boston to go
What?
see BTS. Yes, to
Okay.
Boston to go see BTS because she is a huge fan of BTS. So that tells you right there, they have a fan base that's not just Asian fans. It's not just
Right.
white fans. It's not just
Right.
black fans. They have fans.
Exactly.
Let's
Exactly. So,
let's let that sink in.
right.
Fans.
And so it brings back to this question then again, where once again, they're not the only marginalized community
No,
that has been saying this and vocalizing this. I mean, it
no.
started, with all Black musicians,
Yep,
like you said, since their inception, they have been hit with something similar to this.
yep,
The
yep, they
same
have.
question has been asked for over 57 years.
Yep.
I think you gave me numbers on how many people of color as actually won Album of the Year. And I think your
There
total
have been
was
12,
12.
12, 12 artists since 1957. Mind
Let
you,
that sink in,
that
guys.
that has the Grammys have been around since 1957. So let me correct myself because it's been more than 57 years. The Grammys, 1957 is when the Grammys started.
Right.
1957. So let's let that sink in. 1957.
Mm-hmm.
Since 1957, there have only been 12 black artists. 12. And I know
Well,
I'm sounding pissed off because I am. 12
right. I mean,
black artists
think about that.
who
Think
have
about
won.
that.
You know, Stevie Wonder won 3 times. You know, he
Mhm.
won for Inner Visions in 1974.
Okay.
Um, for Fulgiveness, Fulfillness first finale in 1975, and Songs in the Key of Life in 1977. Okay, he won 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jackson for Thriller in '84, Lionel Richie '85 for Can't Slow Down, Quincy Jones Back on the Block in '91, Natalie Cole Unforgettable, 92. Whitney Houston, The Bodyguard soundtrack, 94. Lauryn Hill, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill in 99. Outkast, Speaker Box, Love Below in 2004. Ray Charles, Genius Loves Company in 2005. Herbie Hancock, River, the Joni Letters in 2008. John Batiste, We Are in 2022, and wrapping it up, Beyonce, Cowboy Carter in 2025. Now, what you did not hear in that list, and we know that their bodies of work should have been listed on this. Prince.
Right.
We did not hear Prince's name at
Not one
all
time.
on this list, and we know his name should have been listed.
Exactly.
Kendrick Lamar. We know
Mm-hmm.
his name should have been listed on this list. Even Beyonce's earlier albums, Lemonade,
Mm-hmm.
should have won.
Yeah. Exactly. That's 2027. And we talked about that because that's the same year that Adele even spoke as she was accepting her award in saying that
Mm-hmm.
it should have went to her because she
And
had a phenomenal project.
if you got the winner
telling you that. This is artist to artist. And
that.
again, we go back to say this. When you are an artist and you make great art, that's how you show. This is the Academy is supposed to it's almost like they're paying homage to the artist, right? This is the artist night for them as artists to their peers to celebrate one another. And if this woman is the winner and she's telling you that she had the better project,
that's a problem.
That's a huge problem.
That's
a
problem.
Huge problem. Again, it goes back to your question. By BTS now coming forward, will anything change? Honestly, I don't think so. I mean, I don't think so, Beezy. Because I think it runs deep. I think this here question runs really, really deep, and it teeters on something that it just really irks me because music just is.
Music just is, and music does not deserve to be put into a box.
Nope.
I absolutely 100% agree with you, because here's the thing, because mind you, there are some artists who feel that, for example, the R&B category belongs solely to Black artists, and that no one who is non-Black deserves to be in that category. There are some artists who believe that and feel that. There are. I don't agree with that, because you and I, we feel that same way, that music is just music. It doesn't matter what color you are. Hey, if you feel that rhythm and blues in your soul and that's what you put out, guess what? That album can be in it. Because we know that there are some blue-eyed soul brothers out there, and some blue-eyed soul sisters out there.
Yes.
And so, hey, if that's the stamp that you put on your music, then guess what? It deserves to be in that category.
Right. But again, it goes back to the conversation. When we say that Cowboy Carter won, but you got to understand, immediately after she won that award, the Academy came back and rewrote the categories and said traditional country and modern country.
And see, and that's the thing. There is no such thing as traditional country any longer.
Is that
exactly
Waylon Jennings?
I don't even know what traditional country is anymore. Your traditional country, that would be, let's go back. Charlie Pride. Charlie Pride is your traditional country.
Pride. Charlie Pride
is your traditional country.
You got Charlie Pride, you got Waylon Jennings, you got Johnny Cash. Is that what y'all talking about? It's traditional? Because I know there's plenty of new artists today that sound and you can see the influence of a Johnny Cash or of a Waylon Jennings or of what his name is, Randy Travis. Randy Travis. You can hear it. So I think it's Kane Brown. Is it Kane Brown?
I don't even know, because I don't listen to country.
I listen to it. You got to listen to it. I listen to it. You got some folks that are singing, and it sounds like some of the stuff that we grew up on. Again, Charlie Pride.
Yeah. But
and then
that's the thing.
That goes back to say Charlie Pride didn't even win that. Was he?
No.
Wow.
Charlie Pride got no respect. And we all know why Charlie Pride did not get any respect.
But again,
he was that long.
Should not be a factor.
But we know that it was
when it comes to music.
I know what it is.
I don't want to speak on that because it should be a factor. It should not be a factor.
Trust me, I feel you. I do. But we know that it was, because let's look at modern day. When Beyonce put out Cowboy Carter, and when she performed at the Country Music Awards,
yeah,
the hell that she got after performing at the Country Music Awards in modern day history,
right?
Where you had people just pissed off. Exactly. And what years ago?
Was it
This
years
was in
ago?
the 21st century.
Century.
And you had people up in arms,
Mm-hmm.
pissed off that you had a R&B artist, because they didn't acknowledge that her performance was country. You had an R&B artist performing at the Country Music Awards. What travesty! What shame!
Mm-hmm. And so,
How dare you?
Beezy, this goes back to, again, we've seen this in several decades of music.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back to the disco era and that radio jock that was at that ballpark and had all of those disco albums and
Yep.
bulldozed them over
Yep.
because he said these words, disco is dead. And
Yep.
yes, just like that, it was gone. And that was only because the rock bands could not get their music played on radio. But whose fault is that, though? This is where it goes back to program directors, goes back to the
Yeah.
station, goes back to labels. I'm going to put that out there. It goes back to these labels. Why they are not even making any money right now because you're irrelevant. Because again, you're missing the key opportunity of diversity.
Yep.
You got to have a diverse. People don't just stay in a box when they're listening to music. They're all over the place. Hell, this is the reason why playlists are a fantastic thing. A fantastic creation. Pandora shot to the roof because again, you could have a country or a country playlist with a few of your country artists, and then you can go to jazz, or then you can go to pop, and then you can go to 80s rock or soft rock, whatever it may be.
Yacht rock. I mean,
Yacht
let's
rock.
look at yacht rock. I mean, yacht rock puts together a compilation of music that you can have Hall & Oates and you can have Billy Ocean all
That's
in
right,
the same
all in
playlist.
there together. So, that's why, when MTV, I think it was MTV or it might have been even VH1, I Love the 80s. That's why that show used to be huge.
Yes.
Because people would get back. It was nostalgia. Again, we had a station called WBBQ in Augusta, Georgia. It was actually in North Augusta, South Carolina. But we would listen to this station because it was very eclectic. That's where I first found out about Boy George. And he had a bad album. I think my mama won that album. And we had to go down to the radio station, get that album. Man, that album has this song called Mistake Number 3 on it. This is a great project by Boy George and Culture Club. But again, if it wasn't for stations like BBQ or, Kicks 99, and all these stuff like that. I mean, you would never know the Van Halens, or you would never, again,
or the Bon Jovis, or any of them. I mean, I agree with you. Exactly. because again, that's why I thank my mom who had an eclectic ear. I learned about U2 from her, Steve Perry and Journey and Foreigner and and Toto and other artists like that. And so because again, and Hall & Oates, can't forget Hall & Oates because my brothers could sing. So exactly. So I mean, so it's just again, it's unfortunate that people, artists, artists have to depend on the Grammys because the Grammys are such a high standard. And until there's something that replaces the Grammys, that's what we have.
Okay. And I remember that was a question that was also raised at one time. Should we decide to create our own institution to celebrate our artists? I believe we should. I think it's well overdue. It's long overdue for it. I mean, because honestly, when you think about the way that they, because I think we touched bases on this on the We Are the World.
Mm-hmm.
Just the formulation. I don't know if you got a chance to watch that on
Mm-hmm.
Netflix.
I did.
And just seeing how all of these artists came and ascended for one common thing.
Yeah. That was
And they
beautiful.
made a masterpiece.
They
Right?
did.
I
Yep.
mean, this song will go down in infamy. Greatest
Yep.
collaboration on record.
Yep.
It literally would be. Because think about it, he had everybody in there.
From every genre.
From every genre, jazz, rock, you
Country.
of it was country. That's what I'm saying.
Everyone was there.
Kenny Rogers
Yeah.
was there. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So it's like, dude, what are you doing by sitting here trying to place people in boxes? Just let folks, again, make great music, because you never know what can come from it.
Exactly. I mean, you truly can't. You know, and I mean, and honestly, when we decided that we were going to talk about this, you know, and I wanted to even dig deeper by looking at what are the Grammys qualifications or criteria for album of the year.
Yeah.
Because of the fact of so many artists who have been skipped over for so many years. What is your criteria?
Right.
That you feel that we're not hitting the mark? And so that's where I started to look. So their criteria for album of the year: artistic achievement, technical excellence,
Okay.
and the overall quality of a full body of work. It is not judged in regards to chart position, sales, or public critical reception. So it does not include those. So it just has to artistic achievement, technical excellence, and overall quality of full body of work. So that's the criteria.
Those are the markers.
So sales isn't included, reception, charts, none of that.
Okay.
So let's look at that. So artistic achievement, technical excellence, overall quality of body of work. So just by those three things that you're saying, that is the reason for being considered as album of the year.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to sit there and tell me that Off the Wall
Okay.
didn't meet that criteria. You're going to sit there and tell me that Prince, 1999, Prince,
Sign of the
Purple Rain,
Times. Purple Rain, Sign of the Times,
didn't meet that criteria.
Come on.
You gonna sit there and pick an album from Barry White. You gonna sit there and tell me that it didn't meet that criteria.
Exactly.
Let's throw in
we
Free
could go
Ocean.
Curtis Mayfield.
Exactly. So again,
Isaac Hayes.
Marginalized.
Let's do that.
Exactly. So marginalized and just overlooked. And, you know, and so again, that's where, you know, when The Weeknd started to protest the Grammys, you know, there wasn't truly a big conversation about it because it was just The Weeknd. You know, he's a big artist, but he's not as big as BTS. You know, he's not selling out arenas as much as BTS is. You know, let's just put it out there. He's not doing as much as what you see BTS doing. They ain't nobody going crazy for The Weeknd like that. So, you know, but I get it because he's put bodies of work out there too, where his music is not R&B. And I think and that's where his argument is coming from. He's like, I'm not in this genre. I belong in this, and that's
So,
where I want to be.
so, because of those three criteria, and I just go back to who is on the board. So it goes back to who is actually sitting back and looking at these bodies of works and saying yay or nay. This is what it all boils down to. Who is at the table?
And
Who
so
is at the
I'm
table?
glad you brought that up. I'm glad that you brought that up. So before, they used to have an anonymous board.
Voting. Anonymous voting.
They used to
Okay.
have an anonymous board, anonymous voting. Now, since the controversies and everything that's come around it, they've gotten away from having the anonymous board now and having the anonymous votes.
Okay.
So they've done away with that. But they still haven't made any stride of correcting what they have done. They're still making these off the wall categories and trying to segregate. Honestly, let's just call it what it is. It's segregate artists.
But let me go back to what they're claiming. The reasoning behind this is representation. So, the Grammys is trying to say that this gives more space and more opportunity for others to actually compete. This is their thought process behind creating these, again, segregated boxes, is to open up the playing field so that we have more folks that can actually compete for the award, so that everyone gets the red ribbon.
But they were competing. They were
Exactly.
competing against other artists. Because if you create an Asian pop category,
That doesn't even sound right.
let's just put this let's put this in a broad spectrum here. Let's say you have this Asian pop category. You got BTS, who is selling out in all of these arenas, and you know that they've got this fire album, and you know everybody's going out rushing, buying it worldwide, etc., so on and so forth. Then let's say you've got this other artist who is in, pick a country in Asia, wherever.
Let's say
Tokyo,
Indonesia.
Great album, but it's not getting as much publicity as BTS.
Right.
And that album may actually be better
than the BTS
album. But guess what? Because BTS has got the most popular group, guess what may actually win it?
That's right.
BTS. And because they keep shelling out album after album after album, guess who's going to dominate that category? BTS.
Exactly. So then here's comes the sweep. So they're going to sweep all of the categories. And so where's the fairness in that? So back to your question. So let's reverse the question. Let's imagine this reverse. What would you think about an Asian awards institution creating a best North American music performance and placing American pop, Canadian pop or Southern hip hop, alternative R&B, and Mexican American music into it? How would you feel about that? Again, would there be outrage? I know that would spark outrage, first of all, on North America, as far as with the United States. Oh, they would be livid. They would actually be livid. So why do we feel the need to, again, this goes back to, we know the reason why, guys, but we're just trying to play devil's advocate here. And we are trying to spark the conversation. So around this, because these conversations need to be had when it comes to music. Because again, I constantly am saying this, music just is. It does not. You cannot keep it in a box. It is going to flow. It's energy. and it
Exactly.
has to go somewhere. It cannot be contained as
You
much as
can't.
you try. They tried to do that with, again, the 70s, the 50s, 60s, by calling it a certain race music when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to Black American music.
Yep.
And you try to contain it then and have it only been played on what? Black radio station.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And
And we all see what
keep
the
it
outcome
real.
of that is today.
Exactly. And I mean, and let's remember that Black music didn't start getting played on music stations for videos until the
Yeah,
80s.
until the 80s. And what artist was
Let's
that?
let that sink in.
Michael
Michael
Jackson.
Jackson. Let that sink in.
Because he what? He dared them. Listen, he got his record labels involved. Again, this is where I really do want to, I do believe that these things here, when we start seeing conversations around boxes and genres, and we need to create different categories,
Mm-hmm.
all of this is conversations at these at these record labels. So record labels are, truly ran by these people, these old oligarchs. Get out the way, because you just need, who is getting a record deal today? You come out better just being an independent artist, because that way you have creative flow of your music and
Mm-hmm.
distribution.
Yep.
Get it out.
I mean, look at Chance the Rapper. I mean,
Exactly.
he is still independent.
He's still independent.
And
And it's probably the best thing he could have ever done, because again, you don't have to worry about all these
mm-hmm.
color within the line. Nah.
Yep.
If I'm putting out a rock record, it depends on me, because I am the artist. Just think if we had had things like this when Da Vinci, Michelangelo, they were painting. Oh, he's too avant-garde. No, he's too traditional. What?
Mm-hmm.
Them artists would have been like, man, if you don't get out of here, Bach, Mozart, none of them.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm creating. Get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
You can call it whatever you want. I didn't ask you to call it anything.
Yep.
It's just a piece of work that I'm working on. That's what we need to get back to. Taking the art form and taking ownership of your art. And I hope that all these artists decide to do that. Please do that. Because again, once you get out of that box, you make the best.
Yeah. And I mean, and honestly, to answer your question, the only way that change is actually going to happen is if you have artists who take a stand and do the same thing that BTS is actually doing.
That's right.
Not presenting their music or presenting any music to be entered in.
So that's the answer right there. You just said what the answer is. If others do the same thing, because again, remember, the Grammys is supposed to celebrate artists and their peers, right? It's a celebration of the art form. Whatever your art form is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if all the others, when they decided to take a stand, and I go back, when Black American artists have been saying this since its inception, but again, it was just fainted chatter, and here it's just us complaining. But if we had took a stand, and everyone took a stand together, and said, wait, no, because I'm an artist. Who's to say you won't come after me in whatever I decide to create and present?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If they had looked at it from that standpoint of view, we probably wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Yeah.
But it's the fact of the matter that we have folks like, well, they ain't coming for me. No. Whatever you're doing, if you're an artist and you're creating, don't let nobody put any limits on your creativity. That's what it all boils down to.
Yep. Exactly. And so that's really going to be the answer. If you have and it can't just be any artist. It has to be your top artist. And it also has to be allies.
Yeah.
Who do
it
this.
really should be that. It should be
so
that.
it would have to be your Beyoncés. It would have to be your Kendrick Lamars. It would have to be your Taylor Swifts. It would have to be your Bad Bunnies. It would have to be your Shabuzis. It would have to be your, what did you say his name was? Kane, whatever his name is.
Kane
It would,
Brown. Yeah.
yeah. So it would have to be your top artists across all genres
Right.
to
Absolutely. A
pull
united
their
front.
music.
It has to be a united front.
And that's the only way that you can take this seriously.
This is why, like I said, again, Prince making the statement when he wrote slave on the side of his face.
Yes.
These things, we need artists that's going to stand for something. And again, we have always been in the forefront, and all of the others should have did the same thing, because if it could happen to him, don't think that it's just related to this here. It's not just,
exactly.
It's not limited to this. It can come in any type of form. It's not limited to the skin color, guys. So think about this when you talk about freedom of expression.
Yep.
You got to stand for something. The Michael Jacksons of the world, the Princes of the world, because I cannot believe that the Sign of the Times, 1999, was not considered. Not even nominated. You mean to tell me
Not even nominated.
the album 1999 was not even nominated?
Not even nominated. Exactly.
Oh, that's unheard of. Purple Rain.
Yep.
Woo! This says a lot, guys. I'm telling you, we're not just talking to you guys about, just some random stuff. I almost cursed. But honestly, I love music. BZ loves music.
Yes.
And this is why we need to have these conversations. Because again, them taking a stand, because again, they're moving as a whole continent. They got the whole Asian community on their back like now, right? This is a whole continent. Because, and then I wonder if Demon Hunters, are they going to be considered? Did they submit any music? You know what I'm saying? Again, they are larger than life.
Yep, they are. They are. And so, I mean, who knows? And honestly, I would even say,
so I wonder if they're going to stand with their brothers on this. This is where we're going to start.
I hope so.
This unity. I hope.
I truly hope so. And I hope that there's others who will be their allies.
Right.
And do the exact same, because eventually there has to be a stand made. A stand has to be made, and someone has to stand up to the Grammys. You brought up a point where you said, hey, do we need to bring up a new, awards type of deal? And the thing of it is that if you look at it, there are so many different types of music awards out there. I mean, you have the Billboard Music Awards, you have
American Music Awards,
the American Music Awards, you have
the iHeart Music Awards,
and then on top of that, you have the different entities, MTV, you have BT, you have
People's Choice Awards,
People's Choice, and then you have the little small other things. Right. So there are other things out there that celebrate our music and celebrate, just culture and music in general, so, I don't think that's the answer. I honestly think it's just standing up to the man. I honestly, at this point, that's what it is. Standing up to the man and saying enough is enough.
And you know what? Okay, you're right. Because here's the thing. I just thought about what is larger or pretty much on the same level with the Grammys as far as when we would say satellite outlets, right? The CMAs. The Country Music Awards is just literally on.
Yeah.
You probably like this,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But again, with them Why do they take a stand now? Have you ever thought about that? Why do they feel the need to separate and create their own award show
Probably because they
outside of the Grammys? Why did they do that?
probably because they felt that country music wasn't being celebrated as much.
So,
I mean,
you see what we're
that's
doing
probably
here?
why. I
I
do.
feel like I am not being heard, and I'm gonna start my own stuff. I'm gonna take my
Yeah.
ball. Really?
Yeah.
This is what we're
I mean,
gonna do.
that's probably why they have their own, because they probably felt that they weren't being celebrated as much. You know,
So
because
popular music, pop music.
and yeah, I mean, I
So
like I said,
what? Okay, so
I don't know.
and this is where we go back to what defines as far as put the music into a genre. So what defines music as country?
I guess a twang. That's about all I got.
A twang. A twang is not a genre, though. But you see what I'm saying, Beezy? You see what I'm saying?
I do. You know, I mean, honestly, that is a very good question. What considers it country? And the only thing that I can truly think of is the style of music that truly comes into it. You know, in the past, I was a radio DJ, and you know, being a DJ that I used to spin records for country. I used to spin records for country, Southern gospel, and there is a difference. There is a huge difference. And it's all in the style of the music and how it's played. And that's truly what country is. It is a different style of music.
Okay.
And that's probably why I can't get into country, because it's just sad for me. It is just sad music. It is just sad music.
But see, here's the thing, though. I mean, because I feel that way about blues music.
I feel that same way too.
But if you listen to them, there are similarities between blues and country.
Oh yeah. I mean, blues birthed country. It truly did.
Right.
I mean, if you look at the evolution of it, jazz gave birth to blues, blues gave birth to country. I mean, everything came from, and then gospel gave birth to jazz, jazz gave,
Right.
there is evolution.
It's evolution
in that music.
to all of it. Exactly. So why are you trying to place it in a box? That's my whole thing.
Yeah.
You can't, because it's energy.
I agree with you.
It's just flows.
Exactly. It does. It absolutely does. And I mean, and trust me, I mean, I feel you, and I see where you're going with why does country music have its own? And I mean, and and that would beg the question of, why is there not a Rhythm and Blues American Music Award? I don't know.
Why there's not a Latin Music Award? But there is a Latin Music Awards. I take that back. There is a Latin Music Awards. I just found that out.
So I mean, there's just again, but there are, to that caliber, there aren't any music awards at that precipice, like the Country Music Awards, that are equivalent to the American Music Awards. So, so that begs the question, why hasn't there been another genre that has done the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
Should there be other genres that do the same thing? That's a great question, But then at the same time, it's like, well, dang, how many more award shows do we need? Then you have that question.
It's true. So again, are all these artists fighting separate battles, or just challenging a different version of the same gatekeeping, system? I think that's what is the ultimate thing right here. This is when you look at what they're fighting about.
Yeah.
It is.
And that could be. I mean, because personally, I've never watched the Country Music Awards. So to fill a show, I mean, there may be different categories that the Grammys doesn't touch.
Doesn't touch.
So
I said the same thing, Bees. I did. And I said, but that would take me have to watch their show, and I won't watch their show. So I won't watch their show. So
I'm not. I don't even know when it comes on. What month?
we
What year?
know, because they do a lot of promotion for it. They do a lot of promotion for it.
Apparently, I'm closing my eyes and closing my ears, so don't even pay attention. But
and again, okay. So okay. We're gonna wrap it up, guys, because I know we're going a little long with this one, but I do want to say that it's because of the fact that we know when the actual Grammys are going to be, televised or whatever. This kind of goes back to our conversation and the episode around the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as well.
Mm-hmm.
These things are similar.
Yep.
So this is what I want. So now y'all have heard from us. Now we want to hear from y'all because, again, is BTS right to walk away from the Grammys?
Yeah, I think they
Is
are.
the best Asian pop music performance genuine representation, or is it just another box? And here's the question that I really want to know the answer to. Why do you think that this protest has received so much attention when Black artists in R&B and in hip hop have challenged the Grammys for decades? If you like what you've heard today, please like, share, and subscribe. You can follow us on all the social medias. And again, every Tuesday, we're going to be dropping the latest episode. So please feel free to watch us and watch us on repeat if you have to.
Yeah.
But we definitely want to hear back from you guys. And we love engaging with you guys and having this conversation. We're always going to bring you the funk and that conversation to make you say,
and
right?
honesty. That's right.
Yes, absolutely.
And honesty.
That's right. So let's keep this conversation going in those comments because this one is bigger than BTS. This is everybody. So until next time, don't forget to protect your peace and let's keep the vibe. Peace, y'all.